Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Saturday morning podcast. Podcast? I
Real
feel
estate
like my
Q&A.
belly is like right. Anyway, hi. Anyway, we've actually got a room full of people, and so we're answering questions live. So if you have any questions about real estate, throw them in, and we're going to just keep going with the Q&A that we have here live.
Yeah, so today we're talking about how to get to 100K income in real estate. What methods to use. We've talked about internet lead generation. We've talked about farming. We're kind of getting sidetracked right now into something that actually I really like, which is how to set up a perfect day.
Yep. Time
Is that good?
management. Yep.
Time management.
And
Fair
so,
enough.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so the question that we got was, all right, well, how many hours are you working to sell real estate? But anyway, I like that too. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's like,
That's where I would start.
yeah, it's like,
So I wrote up there, mine and not mine.
Yep.
Right? Because we have two things that we do in this life, things that we should be doing and things that we should probably not be doing. Right? And being on the team alleviates a lot of this pressure of getting all this stuff done. Right? So what, for anybody that is in real estate in here or anybody thinking about it, what are a couple of things in real estate that you should be doing? Follow up. Prospecting. Open houses.
It's like informational sessions.
Setting up searches.
Be consistent.
Being consistent. That's very good, actually. I'm going to put that down here. Nobody can read it. It's cool. Showing homes. Right?
yep.
And listing homes. And I can put all of this into basically two buckets. Either in front of people or trying to be in front of people. Fair enough? And there's a whole lot of other things in real estate that we have to do as well, but it doesn't necessarily need to be us, but it has to get done. Any guesses on that?
Paperwork.
Paperwork. And what would you say?
Lead generating.
Lead generating, we could do some automated stuff with internet lead generation. Yes. So let's go lead generation. Paperwork.
I'd say 90% of lead generation needs to fall into the mine bucket, right? But like,
Yeah. But there's some stuff you could do to automate.
but there's some stuff we can do to
things.
automate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What else you guys
Paperwork.
got?
Well, I mean, I was saying that basically because as being on the team,
We handle the generation.
Good point.
lead, You handle the follow-up lead.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is a good point.
What was the second one?
Paperwork.
Paperwork.
Sign orders. Photography. Title orders. Following up with the mortgage people 3 times a week. Following up with pending clients 3 times a week. Setting closings. Setting walkthroughs. Setting up appraisals.
inspection.
Inspections our agents still own, but then after that we turn it over. What was that over there? I heard something. Okay, so pretty much everything in real estate that is not either being in front of somebody, like showing a home or an open house or something, or trying to be in front of somebody, making that reach out and that call, in my opinion, those are not dollar producing activities. They have to get done, but they gotta fall over here. Right? Okay. Who's bought a car recently? There you go. When you went and bought
And I went and bought mine.
okay,
Okay.
so you went in and you talked to the salesperson, right?
Yes, I did.
And then you said, I want this vehicle, right?
Yes, I did.
What happened next?
After that, I had to send over all my paperwork.
Yep.
And then, he did all the stuff that needed to be done. And then, because now they wanted me to come in and actually sign the papers.
Mhm.
So I went, signed the papers and picked up my car that day.
Okay. Now, was it with that salesperson or was there another person that prepared the paperwork or sat there with you while I
Somebody
signed
else
it?
was preparing the paperwork.
That's it.
But he came back and brought the paperwork, presented everything, signed off. And then after that, picked up, I went outside, got my car and drove home.
While that person was preparing the paperwork for your salesperson, what could your salesperson be doing?
he at that point with me was, making sure that I knew all the ins and outs for my car that I was getting ready to purchase. So we test drove, he went through all the logistics in the car with me. And then after that, he kept running back with the people that were prepping the paperwork.
Yeah.
With the bank and making sure everything was fine and stuff, so.
Yeah, so there's basically two things. You can either improve your client experience or go sell another car. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's the job of the salesperson. The person behind the desk is probably making some sort of an hourly figure, and I guarantee you they're making a quarter of what that salesperson is making.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Right? Pushing paper is not the job. The job is being in front of people.
I think of it like a doctor's office.
Yeah.
It's like, can you imagine if you went into can you imagine if you went into your doctor's office and your doctor checked you in and did your blood pressure and weighed you? Oh my God, my scale at home never says I weigh this much. I can't believe it. Like it, right? And did the billing and it's like, no, the doctor's there to doctor and has support staff doing everything else.
And how long do you actually see the doctor for?
5 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're super efficient, if the doctor's office is super efficient, actually my dermatologist, I went and saw my dermatologist the other day for the first time in I don't know how long. From the time that I hit the door, I timed it, to the time that I hit the door going out, it was 11 minutes.
Wow.
Literally walked in, the lady knew my name, she already had signed me in, she walked me back to the room, the other lady came in, the doctor lady came in, and then they walked me out. And that was it, and done. And even prescription, they're like, wait, where do you go for there? All right, we'll send it over.
God, I wish doctors would for that easy.
Yeah.
That's why I go to that doctor, to be honest. Yeah. But that's how it is, right? Like even the doctoring business, and it is a business, is cored down to the doctor spends 5 minutes with you so they can see 15 patients an hour, 10 patients an hour, 20 patients an hour, whatever that looks like. Because the highest and best use is that doctor in front of the patient, not taking blood pressure.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we do. We offset all of this stuff onto somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Everybody good with this?
Yeah.
So mine, not mine.
Okay. Mine, not mine. Now, when I got into the business, it looked a little different because I didn't have any help, but I also knew where my money was being made. So I had to maximize that time and minimize the other as best I could. Talk about a perfect day. Talk about a perfect day. All right. So we've got, let's call it 7 a.m. And no, our guys don't necessarily get to the office at 7 a.m. I used to, because I'm just going through my day, right?
Yeah.
And then you're taking calls a lot of times in real estate all the way up to like 9 p.m.
I'm wrestling
Which
with
you can minimize.
I'm wrestling with a 4-year-old to get out of pajamas and into clothes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Dropping my kid off. at
Yeah.
school.
No, you can't have chocolate for breakfast. No. Put it in.
So what is
Get off the floor. You can't eat the chocolate.
So we've got two main activities. We got a slot in each day, right?
Yeah.
What are the two main activities?
Getting to work.
Getting to work,
Work and leisure.
work and leisure.
So two main activities for the day.
Yep, that pertain to work.
Being
Oh, that-
productive.
Get in front of people. And
Trying to get in front of
get in
people
front.
and being in front of people,
Yep.
right?
That's it.
Where is the best spot for those to fit? Where's the best spot for the trying to be in front of people? Calls, texts, emails, that kind of a thing.
In the morning.
That's right. So when I was doing it, and back then, and I'm going to be completely candid, I was completely broke. I had no idea what I was doing. So I was extremely high effort, right? Because I did not have a lot to put into branding or marketing or anything like that. So 7 to 8 a.m., I did my appointment prep. Because I knew that once 8 a.m. hit, I could start dialing the phone legally, right? 8 to 9, I would call all the new expireds or leads that came in overnight, if I had any, which I really did, because again, I was broke, right? 9 to 10, I would call through the old expireds. 10 to 11, I call FSBOs, and then 11 to noon, I would do follow-up.
What is FSBO?
For sale by owners. Yep.
Something like the stats are, I think it's 92%, 94%, somewhere in there, of people that attempt to list their home on their own end up hiring an agent. The percentages also are, this is the interesting part, is because people go for sale by owner to try to save money. The average for sale by owner also sells for, it's like 10 to 15% less than a home with an agent.
And don't forget to put your questions in the chat, guys.
Yeah. So anyway, so what's interesting is people try to go for sale by owner to save money, but in reality, they end up not saving money and they end up hiring an agent, right? So anyway,
Fair enough.
I
That's
actually,
what my day looked like.
yeah.
$500 a day, up to noon. Every single day, 6 days a week for 3 years. It sucked. Fair enough? Yeah. Then 12 to 1, I returned calls. Anybody that called me before 12 or after 8 a.m., I did not pick up the phone. Because it was not making money, right? A co-op agent would call, don't care. My mother would call, don't care. Don't care.
You never pick up the phone for me, Michael.
That's right. I didn't.
So that was actually gonna be a question, Mike, because I just started on the phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't prepared for the fact that people were gonna call me back.
Yeah.
Because I'm calling people, I'm new to the script, I'm learning, and I'm starting to make my calls, and then my phone rings, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I do?
If it's a lead calling back, absolutely, I'm
Which I
taking that
knew it
call.
would be, because no one ever calls me, so I knew it was
Right.
me, right?
Well, and then as you start
So in
getting
my mind,
busier,
It's like,
yeah.
when I pick up the phone, I'm like, I don't have any information, I don't even know who it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm calling 100 people.
Yeah.
And so that was one of my questions for today, was like how to handle that situation.
So you're saying you're making phone calls, someone calls you back, and they're like, hey, did you just call me?
Right, exactly, 100%.
I did. You were just on the website looking for a home. I wanted to see what areas you were looking in because I do have a couple that are coming to market. And as you're doing that, type their phone number right into the Shopify point, pull them up,
Okay, so yeah.
and it's just a good
I think-
backpedal for a
and
few
that's the big
seconds.
thing with me is getting more efficient at learning PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Maneuvering around.
Yeah, FirePoint's the CRM that we're using for anybody not familiar with it. But when somebody's calling back, all I'm trying to do is backpedal for that first 15 seconds, right? Until I can pull their data up in whatever system I'm using at that time.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to do, just backpedal
So,
just a
so
little
like
bit.
say like later on in the day, you're out and about doing whatever, your phone rings, like should you just let it go to voicemail if you don't have PowerPoint?
If you can answer it, answer it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then just be honest with them and say, hey, I'm on the way to an appointment to show a couple of homes. I don't have your data right in front of me, but I was probably calling because there were a couple great homes that were coming to market I wanted you to be aware of before they actually got to market.
Okay.
And we've always got it coming soon somewhere.
Yeah.
Again, just backpedal. And I find that, especially if it's afternoon, there's an expectation that realtors are on the road,
Okay.
right? So just be honest with them.
Okay.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's what I would do. 12 to 1 return calls, and then 1 to 9 p.m. I was on appointment. And before I had an assistant, 9 to 11 p.m. paperwork. That's what my day looked like for the first 3 years of actual success, which was different than the first 5 years of being in real estate. The first 5
Like
years of
7
real
days a
estate.
week too, right? Like you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, with the team, we can knock out a lot of this stuff,
You can knock out that.
right? And then we can knock out a lot of this stuff because we have inside salespeople that do a lot of outbound and inbound dials and book appointments right on the agent's calendars, right? So that's what we look like, right? So for me, how I would do it is something more like that. So from 8 to 10 or 9 to 11, just knock all that follow-up out. Everything you got to do.
Yep.
Right? Determine with your business plan what you need to achieve success and make sure to knock that out before 11 a.m. Right? And a couple reasons for that. Number one reason being, has anybody read The One Thing, the book? Besides him? Great book, Jay Papasan. He goes into detail on productive versus non-productive, what you could do versus what you should do. But the number one thing is your highest mental acuity is right there at the start of the day, right after coffee and breakfast. And your lowest mental acuity, first point of the day, is right before lunch. Second highest point is directly after lunch, and second lowest is right before dinner, right? So you want to make your calls because those are the most important activities of the day where your brain is functioning at the highest level.
Could you repeat, title and author again?
Yep, The One Thing, Jay Papazon, Papasean.
You type in the one thing, it'll pop up.
Yeah,
As they've sold a lot of books.
yeah, and that's not a real estate book, it's a business book.
It's a business book, yeah.
Yeah, written by a real estate guy.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. It is a very good book. Yeah, legit. And then this really, I mean, depending again on what your business plan looks like and what you're looking to achieve income wise, this probably looks more like a total of 100 per day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now at first, I would recommend ramping that up because again, talking about Austin's 150 people in the database, the faster you get people that raise their hand and say, yes, I am looking to buy something in the next 12 months or less, or sell something in the next 12 months or less, the faster you get to that 150, the faster the success will come, but also the more consistent that success will be, right? So especially right in the beginning where you've got a lot of time and not a lot of appointments, I'd be on the phone 5-6 hours a day, just chomping away and getting those people into my database, pre-identifying my next 12 months of closing.
Well, that's just it. If you don't have an appointment, right? If you're not meeting with somebody in the afternoon, that means you don't have a business right now. And so you gotta just keep trying to make contacts until you find somebody that you can meet with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's big time.
Questions on this?
So you are twice as effective between the hours of 9 and noon.
Yeah.
As you are between the hours of noon and 6. Half the time, twice as effective. So it's like you got to knock out the thing that you need to be most efficient with right up front. So matter of fact, here's what people do, right? Anybody a checklist writer?
Yep.
All right. So like when you write a checklist, you're writing down 20 things or whatever it is, right? You got 20 things on your checklist. What the propensity for us to do as humans is we just want to get a win. So we want to knock something out easy, right? You guys ever do that?
Always do the easy shit first.
You always do the easy
Always.
stuff first, right?
Feel way more accomplished.
The truth of the matter is what you need to do is you need to take a look at that checklist and you need to prioritize the 3 things that actually matter the most. And then you knock those out. It's like the truth of the matter is that the other 17 probably could wait till tomorrow. And what ends up happening if you create priority lists, there's going to be 10 things on your little checklist that just never get done.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's like it's okay. If it's not the most important thing that you need to do in a day, you know what I mean? It's like anyhow.
So talk mentorships with me, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so we're getting the knowledge from you, we got the coaching and all that, but like, mentorship, like, is it one-on-one? Is it somebody I can eat the dust off your sandals type of deal?
That's
With
a
your-
that's
You
a
know what I mean? Like going
Yeah.
over my, say, hey, let me see what you got going on here. This is what I would do. These are my goals.
Can I answer
I'm
then you
doing
answer?
A&P, walk me through.
I was going to answer first.
Can I answer then you answer?
Yes, there you go.
Well, one, because I'm going to talk about culture, and then he's going to give you probably a different answer. One of the things that we focus on, and we haven't talked about in this room, but the number one thing that we hire to, and frankly fire to on the team, is culture and environment. So it's like one of the jokes I always make. It's like you can't beat a bad environment. You can't do it. It's like over the course of time, a bad environment, a toxic relationship, a toxic work environment, backstabbing, it beats everybody. It's why the Lions suck for 50 years. I don't know what's going on in that building, the way their culture is, but whatever they're doing, it's not working. That's why they can't win. It has nothing to do with football, right? It's like these guys get talent. But anyway, it's like talented people will lose because of culture. Less talented people will win because of culture. So anyway, one of the things that we work really, really hard at, and when I mean we talk about it every day, Lamar, is you gotta, in order to be in business with us, you gotta be the kind of person that's humble enough to have your hand out, like, please help me, and love your fellow teammates enough to have your hand back, like, let me help you, right? It's like hand out, hand back, all times, right? And so you talk about mentorship, but like we've created a culture on the team where it's like you could call anybody at any time for any reason, and they're going to help you, and like that matters. And I mean. Like people bend over backwards for each other. It's like some of you guys are on the team, but you're like just have gone through licensing, correct? It's like we got even that little group text where people are going through like people are really, it's a crazy supportive just in that, right? It's like, no, that carries through for everything that we do. So anyway, he's going to give you a different answer, but it's got to start with culture, and it's got to start with leadership placing emphasis on that culture, and in making sure that people are supporting one another. It's like, I actually don't verify any. It just happens. It's magic. It's like the way that people on the team help each other out. It's really cool. But anyway, all right. So what were you going to say? Starts with culture, but you probably have a different answer.
Yeah. For mentorship and training and learning and all of that, and that all kind of plays in together for me. You've got the traditional brokerage, and then you've got the team, right? Traditional brokerage, and when I started in the business, I started at a traditional brokerage as a traditional agent. It was here's your desk, right? Back then we had phones on the desk, right? Because that's just what they did, because you had to pay for the minutes on the cell phone, which I'm aging myself as to how long I've been in real estate.
Anybody old enough for free nights and weekends?
Yeah, that's what I call my clients. I'm like, every Saturday, they'd all get a call.
Anybody old enough to get the weather on your pager?
And then what we used to call GLM, which the broker would come over and say, okay, man, there's your desk, there's your phone, good luck, man. And that's it. That's it.
And like
By
we
the
would have
way-
classes like here and there, but
Yeah.
that was it. Good luck, man.
And generally speaking, the classes were not geared towards us because they were also, not to be offensive to anyone, but they were also done by the absolute top producers, right? Which is cool, but they were so far beyond. So I remember sitting in the class, and it was like the number one agent, the number 3 agent in Southeast Michigan, but the number 1 agent in that office, because that's the office I went to. I went to the biggest office at the time. And he's sitting there and he's like, yeah, let's talk about farming. So the first thing you need to do is set aside $75,000 to $100,000. I'm like,
Scare
All right.
factor.
Well, I'm done.
We're done.
I'm done.
and I sat there, I took all the notes, I looked at it, I'm like, this is useless. Like, I don't know where my car payment's coming from.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a $5 hot and ready.
That's why.
And you're talking about blanketing all of Northville and all of Novi, and that's how you got to do it. I'm like, whatever, bro. With the team, we've got a couple of different mechanisms. First one, of course, is Bootcamp. Is anybody in Bootcamp right now? There you go.
You just went through, right?
You just went through.
I just set my first appointment yesterday.
Congrats, by the way.
There you go.
Very good. And
So
you're in there right
Bootcamp
now.
will give you kind of the nuts and bolts, very, very basics of what you need to do to get onto an appointment, right? It will not teach you about radon. It will not teach you about mold remediation. It won't teach you about foundation. It won't teach you about anything except how do we get you onto an appointment, what are the scripts and dialogues and the systems and tools used to do that, right? Because everything else is everything else, right? We've got Hotline Bling, right, which is manned by a couple of vets, 7 days a week. Someone can call or text in. General return phone call or text time if they're on the phone is 45 minutes to an hour because they're probably helping somebody else. But is a great on the spot, hey, I just ran into this issue. What do I do next? I have to write this addendum. How do I do this?
Yeah.
I have to talk to somebody about mold remediation. What do I say? I've got to write an offer. Can you help me out? It's my first offer.
There's a lot of confidence with
Yeah.
that too. It's like you don't need to know all the answers because there's a resource. Like you could be having a conversation with a client, and clients don't care that you say, I don't know. They care that you say, hey, let me get right back to you. Let me find out. Yeah. It's like, just be honest about it. So it gives you a lot of confidence. Like, hey, I'll get back to you. So even like 5 o'clock at night on a Sunday, if you're in the middle of negotiating on behalf of a client and they bring up something or the other agent brings up something that like, oh, I actually don't know the answer to that. Like there's a support line 7 days a week where you can text those guys or call those guys and they get you an answer. So that's a really big deal, getting you the information quick. On the brokerage level, by the way, it's not good or bad, but on the brokerage level, it's like it might be 2 days before a broker gets back to you with an answer on some of that stuff. Has anybody been in real estate experienced that? It's like, man, you might have a question on something and it's on a Thursday and you couldn't get a hold of your broker on Friday and it might be till Monday. It's like,
What's on the screen there?
I agree. Toxic work environments are not productive for anyone. I agree.
That's nice.
I agree. Suzette. Hi, Suzette.
Oh, hey, Suzette. There we go. There we can see it.
I just got out of a toxic environment this week. All right. Good job.
There it is.
There it is.
So that's Hotline Bling. Open house, the first one we do as a shadow, right? So you can see how it's actually conducted. And then after that, you can run as many open houses as you want in a year. I would highly advise I mean, it's a great way to pick up clients. Let me just put this out there. When I was first in the business, after my first year, when I went to my second brokerage and I figured out like more of what I was doing, because I had no idea what I was doing. And to take it back, in my first year of real estate, I sold 3 homes, 1 in the first 6 months, 2 in the second 6 months, and that was it. Like I was almost out of the business. But open houses, I used to do 4 a weekend, every weekend. And that year I sold 50 homes, right? I would do 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. If I could find another vacant home to do, I do them on Thursday evenings, catch people while they're driving home, right? It's easy to cover up a lot of insecurity and newness when you're belly to belly with somebody instead of over the phone, right? Because now you're a human, you're not on a phone, having a real conversation belly to belly with another human, right? Humanizes the whole experience.
And if they're walking into a home
They're
and they don't have an agent,
Yeah.
like they're serious, especially this time of year. Like,
Yeah.
someone's thinking about moving. So on the team, we've got like, so for instance, we've got 10 open houses today.
Yeah.
I think we've got another 12 lined up for next weekend.
Yeah, I'm actually going to my first one today.
Are you? Cool. Where at with who?
With Katie Rogers.
Oh my God, Katie's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, pick her brain. She's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, you shadow the first one, and then
Yeah.
even then ongoing, it's like you can have, I don't want to say unlimited, right? But it's like you can have as many as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sadie's currently working on building out some sort of a first appointment shadow as well, right? That's a little hard to do because a lot of times schedules change,
Yeah.
especially with buyers. Like a lot of buyers will call the same day and say, hey, I know we're gonna go see the home at 4, but my kid's sick, can we push to 6? It stuff gets messy, right? It's real estate. We've got GroupMe that Austin had talked about, which is just this big kind of chat chain. I think the number one thing in GroupMe that is not only the ability to ask questions, but see the wins, and kind of borrow other people's confidence. We everybody puts in there like, what their pendings are, their buyer agency agreement signed, their listing agreement signed, all of that kind of thing. And it's easy. I find it a confidence boost when I see other people achieving wins. It gives me more confidence that I can do it too.
I honestly feel like after setting my first appointment, I have a lot more confidence on the phones already. It was only my second day.
Yeah.
That's
Going
awesome.
back to that thing, so my whole career before for 20 years was I was going into people's homes, I was coming into businesses, and I was face to face.
Yeah.
And I find that very easy and simple. And people generally like me. But on the phone, it's like you don't have any of those tools.
No.
And it's hard. Like my first call was like click, and my second call was take me off that damn list. And I was like, wow, this is how it goes, right?
Yeah.
But you start to get used to that. But I was
It's
really
different.
nervous getting on the phone.
It is a different
Yeah.
skill. Yeah.
It's different. I
You might be more of an open
intonation
house
and
guy. It's like,
Yeah. Intonation and inflection are 80-90% of communication, right? The words are only 10%.
Yeah.
Right. 9 a.m. Zoom 5 days a week, right? Goes from 9 to 9:15 most days. Tuesday in office and Novi goes half an hour, 45 minutes.
so every day, Lamar, we're doing a Zoom call and we're teaching something. Like people are
Yeah.
sharing wins so we can learn from one another, and then we're teaching something,
And
Like,
then we have a
little,
weekly,
like quick little
Yeah.
10-minute lessons,
and then we've got a weekly accountability Zoom to hold people accountable. And then we've got a weekly goal Zoom goal Zoom, right? Where we just go over the current business.
No, it's
How do
more
you
of like what we do is we
He does
break.
it, I don't do it.
Yeah. So we have an accountability Zoom where it's like, hey, my goal this week is to do this. And then next week we we check back in, like, okay, how did you do? Like, okay, what happened? Huh?
That's like our Thursday Zoom?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, right now I'm doing that with you guys on Thursdays. It's very similar to that. Okay, what's the goal next week? All right, we'll get it in the way. What kind of support can I give you? But then we're also doing like a teaching Zoom. And so what I do is I break the team into experience level, because it's like, I don't care where you are. We're judgment free. It's like wherever you are and whatever skill you're working on, I just got to work on getting you that next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. Actually, one of the things we talk about all the time, Lamar, is like the number one predictor of income on our team is just time on our team, because it's like we're just working on getting you the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. It's like wherever you're at, it doesn't matter. So anyway, so I break the team into 3 different groups, actually 4 different groups, depending on what your experience level is. The things that I'm teaching a brand new agent are totally different than the things that I'm teaching a 2-year vet. Right. And so, not totally different, but it's just the conversation goes a different way. Right. So we're just getting people the help where they need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people move up and down on those groups depending on where they need help. You know what I mean? So.
And the last thing, which is not something we have formalized, but something I would do, is inspection shadows.
Yeah.
So if it were me and I were a new agent, I'd pop into the group meeting and say, hey, who's got an inspection coming up this week that I can shadow?
Yeah.
And then just listen to the inspector, right? Just listen to the inspector.
Yeah.
Because they'll point out some good just tips and tricks on looking at a home in general that you can reply back to a buyer with and say, hey, look, check out the shingles on this roof. You know, the minerals are fairly deteriorated. That's something we're going to want to make sure the home inspector hits on a home inspection should we decide this is the home for you. Yeah, look at the fog glass. Look at this over here. Let's go to the hot water tank and see how old that is. Right? Most hot water tanks need to be replaced every 10 years or 12 years.
Yeah.
Right? Just simple little things like that the home inspector will walk a buyer through. If you just follow them around for 2 or 3 home inspections, you'll know more than you ever needed to know about a home, period. And buyers will ask that, like, how does the roof look? Say, well, looking a little weathered, we're definitely going to want to write that down for a home inspector to go over, you know, more or harder or whatever that, or pay extra attention to it.
Yep.
Right? That's how I learned about a home, was just going through dozens of home inspections because they're boring. They're super boring.
Well, but see how this
Yeah.
times together. So it's like, so if you're in a learning class,
Yeah.
and we might be that day teaching about home inspections, then you go on a home inspection shadow, and then that gets you the information you need so that when you're out with an inspection on a client, you can have that conversation. Well, then something comes up on that home inspection because look, real estate's really nuanced. Something pops up on a home inspection. You're like, oh my God, what do I do there? It's like, okay, call Hotline Bling and figure out, all right, what would you do here? How would you negotiate this, right? What would you ask for? Is this a concern? And so it's like, it's just getting you the support when you need
Yeah.
it, where you need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not perfect, but it's like, but there's systems built in place to make sure that you get the info.
Is it
Yeah.
like an onboarding deal? So I'm starting day one, and you got me out
You
90
got it.
days. Like,
I got you at Bootcamp.
No, boot camp is 2 weeks, and then boom, you're on the phone with clients. As a matter of fact,
And then we start getting appointments.
we start setting appointments right on your calendar.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I want you out as fast as possible
as
making money.
fast as possible.
Because what I don't want is I don't want you to go 8 months without making any money, and then you're done. You're out of the business.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go 90 to 100 days just because that's the cycle, right? That's just the purchase or sell cycle of
Yeah.
any home buyer, right? It takes 40 days roughly to get through the mortgage right now. Sometimes as fast as 25, but really 40 days. It takes 2 or 3 weeks for somebody to find what they want. It takes another week of talking to them just to get them out on appointment. I don't want to push it back any further than that.
gotcha.
Man, we're obsessed with
Trying to
trying to
shorten
get you
that up.
guys up and running as fast as possible. It just is 90 to 100 days. It's like,
Yeah, and we sat there for what, 2 hours the other day, and I ran analytics on 10 people that joined the team this year. I'm like, okay, where can I shore up any inefficiencies? How many open houses did they
Yeah.
conduct? How many appointments have they gotten? How many dials did
Yep,
they make?
yep.
How many people are in their fire points? And literally sat there for hours just
we
obsessing
were
over,
trying to
okay,
figure it out.
where can I shorten this even more? And I'm always going to do that. I'm always going to continue looking for that shortcut
Yeah.
because I do want people to get paid as fast as possible. And real estate's real estate.
Just
It
at
just
some
is what
point.
it is.
Some point. Yeah, go ahead.
What happens after the 90 to 100 days if nothing happens? Do you have to go back and start over, or do you?
We usually have a group, so we usually have like 4 or 5 people, then we Hunger Game it, and then one will. stay on the
But
team
with like a
and
dunk
go.
tank. So we wheel
Yeah.
wheel the dunk tank. There's like an industrial elevator. We get it up into the thing. and
Yeah, I mean, it's not both.
We fill it with like, you know, the slime from Nickelodeon? We fill it with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then we throw balls at you. No. We just, whatever it is that you're working on. Again, no judgment. It's like no judgment. Let's just keep working to
Yeah.
whatever skill you need to work
Yeah.
on until you get there. Right?
Well, and that's it, right? I mean, some people take a little longer to pop, some people take a little shorter to pop. It just depends on who they are and where they're at in their life and also what else is going on, right? And so we've got a lady on the team that's doing fantastic right now, but it took her 6 or 7 months to start really getting it. And she has 4 kids.
Yeah.
I mean, like her time is already minimal because of 4 children at home, let alone everything else going on in her life, right?
We've got a really great agent in our team, and just English is her second language, you know, and her first year, it was like, I don't want to say it was a struggle, but it was like, it's just harder, right? It's like, she's smart, but you just pick up things slower when you're operating as it's a second language. And so
Yeah.
she first year made an income, second year she tripled it.
Yeah.
Just things just gelled together. It took her like 10 months for it to really gel together.
It's on the screen. Anything?
That Suzette met you. I met Michael a few years back at an open house. Somebody don't bother with open houses. Yeah.
Mhm.
Shout out to you, Suzette.
She's nice. She's on every week.
She's cool. Yeah. Hi, Suzette.
All right. Did we nail that one?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Questions on this at all?
Here's the other thing on the culture piece. Sorry, I'm obsessed with it. I just think it matters. You guys ever notice how grumpy people all hang out with grumpy people?
Yeah.
All your friends that are a hot mess all hang out with your friends that are a hot mess. It's like, right?
I had my first accountability meeting this week, and I find it really helpful because you are face to face with all the other agents that are pretty much at the same spot you are,
Yeah.
and it really just helps you focus and helps you like, hey, okay, they're doing that, like, there's no reason I can't do that.
Yep.
It really is awesome.
It's like like-minded, positive people that care what happens to other human beings hang out with like-minded, positive people that care about human beings. I just need to find those people.
Yep.
And build a culture around it, right?
One thing that I was kind of talking about, but didn't dive into too far, but I'll finish out is expires, FSBOs, cold calls, circle prospecting, all of that hardcore dialing stuff. People can do it. On the team, we have all the tools to do it. We have inside sales agents that do that and then book the appointments on our agents' calendars. I was doing it myself, which is where those 450 dials from 8 to 11 came in every morning. I was mainstaying my business at that point with expireds because the market had started going down. It was tumbling back in 07, and I needed to severely change what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
My business up until that point was largely sphere-based. And unfortunately, Michigan and Houston got hit in middle of 07, but it didn't catch up to the rest of the nation until like Q2 08. So national news, Wall Street Journal, all those things are reporting an amazing economy. And yet in Detroit and in Houston, home prices were tumbling, right? And my sphere came mostly from my high school at that point. I was trying to go for a more of an affluent crowd. And that affluent crowd also, again, they read the Wall Street Journal, right? They look at the national financial news, not the local financial news, unfortunately. So I would go to somebody and say, hey, listen, your home's worth $625. And they're like, well, we bought it for $675 3 years ago. You're wrong. And I would lose the listing, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to find a different tactic. So I started going after the expired, the people that were on the market with another agent. The other agent couldn't get the price reduction, couldn't get it sold, but they still wanted to sell. And those were the dials I was making at that point. For the system, the dialer and the data and everything, it's about $600 a month. It is very time intensive. It's very time intensive. And you get yelled at a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Which at that point, I didn't really care because I was like operating on like change I could find on my couch. So I'm like, great, I'll be yelled at. I don't care.
I had a summer in 2010. I couldn't afford gas. It was like, I had this like old Honda motorcycle. For real. I did. I had this old Honda motorcycle that got me like 55 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
I ran out of money for that. I was riding my bike. I had buns of steel.
Yeah. What you got?
I have a quick question.
Shoot.
So when the agent comes out of Bootcamp,
Yeah.
do you guys assign them to a specific area, or they have a choice of what area that they might want to have their listings placed at?
You've got a choice.
Yeah, you choose.
You choose?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we got Metro Detroit zoned out into a number of different zones. I don't know what state he's got it out to now, but a number of different zones, and you can attach to one or more. You can attach to all of them,
Okay.
which I would not advise, just because it doesn't change. It doesn't change how many homes you sell by going with more or less areas. It just changes how many miles you're putting on your car.
Yeah, I'll probably do it.
So we've got a guy on the team, Zach, who's fantastic, and he lives like deep Brighton, and he went attached to all zones. And so at some point, he was showing homes in St. Clair Shores in one day.
Mhm.
I think it was like Allen Park same day, and then back out in like Ann Arbor, and it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's like 3 hours.
And that's why I was asking
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's hard to specialize
Oh,
too.
he's
So-
great. And
so
then, I
Zach's
want a
great.
little of that.
It's got a beard like this long.
Oh, dude,
It's cool.
Yeah. He's
But anyway,
fantastic.
it's easy top. No, we break it. There's like a western, just like, Ann Arbor, Brighton kind of, we have that. Howell, we have that as a zone. We've got basically the 275 corridor as a zone.
Yeah.
We've got the Woodward corridor as a zone. We've got Rochester and East as a zone. And then we've got
Downriver.
Detroit City as a zone. And then we've got the Downriver communities as a zone. And so, and really it's a better client experience too, because you want your agent to specialize in certain areas, right? And so, but we do business in all those areas, yeah. And we allow you to kind of choose where you want to go.
Good question. Questions on expireds, physicals, cold calling systems, or anything like that, if anybody's interested in it.
No.
Wow, okay.
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 They're done that, I'm good.
Sphere of influence.
This is the kind of the longest one to work, but it does work. And our best agents are about a 50-50 sphere of influence and then taking leads from the team, right? Our long-term-
I'd say on the team, it probably takes about 3 years on the team before
Yeah.
people really start to really get a robust sphere of influence business. Like
Yeah.
your friends and family. Well, one, you don't have any repeat clients, and then two, it's like your friends and family.
They know what you're doing.
They want you to know what you're doing a little bit. They just
Yeah.
not everybody. But
When I
they
got into
do.
the business, I had that first year, I think I had 7 or 8 friends and family buy or sell real estate, which was awesome. None of them went with me.
Yeah.
My mother was still in the business and they all went with her. Because they just wanted somebody that knew what they were doing, honestly.
Yeah.
And we were at different brokerages at the time. So sphere of influence, right? So rule of thumb is, and again, it goes back to very similar to the farming conversation, where you gotta make sure you get those touches in, and the internet lead generation conversation where you gotta get those touches in, right? So one thing I know is that the average homeowner right now is buying or selling a home roughly every 11 years, right? It's not 7 years anymore like it used to be. After the last down market, that number started ballooning, which is also why the wealth in America has increased so much, because home prices increased and people didn't move.
Yeah.
Right? So equity increased.
People are staying in their homes longer than they
Yeah.
ever have. Yep.
So if people are moving every 11 years and I want a closing a month for my sphere, how many people do I need in my database?
$121.
Right? 11 times 12.
11 times
Is
12.
that 11 times 12? I don't even know. I'm just guessing. Does anybody have a
Is
calculator?
that 122? Is
Is that right?
Is it right? You gotta think. Look.
What do you mean with the numbers?
I was trying to figure it out in my head too.
It's probably not right.
132.
Yeah,
Jesus, there it is. Okay.
132.
Okay.
You
Okay.
want to have one closing a month, you need 132 friends and family.
I was trying to make them feel better.
I appreciate you. Thank you. You're my favorite guy.
No, you were. You were trying to bullshit. Anyway.
That's it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. So I need 132 people in my database.
Yeah.
Right? Friends, family, sphere, most of which you can find already here. Right?
Facebook, social media.
Facebook, social media. The average person knows 250 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least has met or had a conversation with in the last 12 months or less.
Yeah.
Right? So goal, of course, is get in front of those people.
Yeah.
Which can be done a number of different ways. We have our way that we're doing it on the team, but I can go through that. So 132 people, they should be called 4 times a year. Right? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Right? They should get some sort of an email from you 12 times a year. Fair enough? Yeah.
Even if it's something as simple as like, if you know their home address and you just send them once a month an email on anything that's sold in the neighborhood,
Mhm.
you know, people just want to know that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's another one. So
Yeah.
12 times a year, making sure that they have everything that's sold in their neighborhood.
Yep.
Yep, so once a month they get another email there, right?
Yeah.
And then personally, I think they should get 6 pieces of mail per year. So it's 24, 30, 34 touches.
Minimum.
And that is.
We talk to people nationally sometimes where it's like they're touching 50 times a year, 60 times a year on their friends and family.
Yeah, and we're getting closer to that.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Right? This is how you run a sphere business, like truly run a sphere business. And then the other thing you got to do is continue adding to it. Right?
Yeah.
So then have a goal, feed it. Right? If your goal is 24 transactions, then I know I need to double that number. So if I want 24 transactions in 2023, I need to double that number by the end of 2022.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. This is a sphere business right here. High touch, a lot of outreach, a lot of conversations, a lot of talk about kids and puppies and dogs and all those a wonderful thing, right? A lot of long-form conversations that don't result in business for the next 3 years.
You got to have great note taking.
Yeah.
Like you got to have something where you're taking notes, and when they tell you, my dog was sick, the next time you call them, you better ask about their dog. Yeah. But if you're managing 264 relationships, you can't remember all that stuff. You got to take notes.
Yeah.
God, I can't tell you how many times I've screwed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll tell you how I used to do it back in the day. I had about 900 in my sphere total between high school, friends, family, past clients at that point when I really hit it hard. And I was making 10 calls a day, every day. I just went A to Z. And once I got to Z, then I used to carry a clipboard around because I was old school like that and I like clipboards. So I would have it all printed out, just the names and phone numbers, and just go A to Z. And as I did it, I crossed them off and threw away the sheets. Once I got to the bottom, I printed the same list out again. And that included anybody I had added to the spreadsheet as well. And it worked. I used the note section of my phone. It was very simple, but it was very effective. I also had no money for a CRM at the time. So I also had to go hire consumer relationship management system. Consumer relationship manager. Yeah, that's right. So I couldn't necessarily send out sold. I'd have to call them and tell them about it because I didn't have a great medium with which to send that out so that I would know if they clicked on it and opened it or whatever that looked like. So I went much higher on the calls. It was more like 7 times a year I was calling them.
There's services that you can purchase that can do. There's a cost. It's not cheap, but there's services that you can do that will do some of this automatically.
Yeah.
Again, we provide all of it on the team, but yeah. Sorry.
So if you pick up a client from the team,
Mhm.
and then they like you sold them home, whatever, and then they refer like a friend of theirs, is that considered an SOI?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or with that, we're actually really unique too, Jeremy. After 12 months, if they come back, we consider them not to be a team lead anymore. We consider them to be your sphere of influence. Because the truth is that if someone comes back to you twice, it's like they're not doing business with us; they're doing business with you. But most people don't operate that way. Like most of our competition operates like if they come back forever, it's always the team provided that client.
And then we're doing around 3 client events a year, which we do, like as an example, we're doing photos with Santa, right? So we've got a professional Santa that we're running out. We're running out of space. Past clients can sign up through a calendar link, right? So they got a specific spot. They have to go wait at Summer Center, wait at 12 Oaks for an hour with the photos with Santa, right? Which is.
I got to tell you, Jimmy, you got a great beard. Could you be Santa? I'm teasing.
But all those are touches, right? So all the past clients are going to get an email, a phone call, a text, and a hard mail. And then after the event, we're going to send a video about the event.
Yeah.
Right?
We have someone on the team. This is their entire job.
That's
is to
the
do
job.
this stuff. Yeah.
Yep, that's Maria's job. So
Yeah.
that adds another 15 touches on top. So people are seeing us 49 times a year.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere else.
I saw you go, wow, but it's like that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it takes to stay in front of people.
Coming up, we've got Pi Day.
I want you to think about this. Like anybody on an email chain for Nordstrom or Johnson & Murphy, or it's like I got an email from Johnson & Murphy.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Dude, Lori, I mean, she is.
You would never know that she walks as hard as she does.
Dude, she walks like a dude.
Yeah.
She legit walks like a dude.
She looks like an Egyptian. What was I saying?
Email chain.
Oh my God. Austin, she heard you making fun of her.
She's probably watching the thing. I don't even know what I was talking about. I don't even know what I was talking about. All right, we got it. Oh yeah, like Nordstrom or I don't know.
Yeah, we're all female chains. Everybody is.
It's like, man, they email you like every day.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazon.
That's
Yeah.
what it's. And here's the thing: it's like I buy like maybe one pair of shoes from Johnson & Murphy a year. Maybe. It's like, but I get an email every day, and then when I'm ready to buy shoes, I go buy them from
I
Johnson
click
& Murphy.
on it.
Yeah.
Search my inbox.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And you have to provide value. So think about it. You get an email from Macy's, they're telling you what's on sale, what's 40% off, what do we got going on? It's like you got to provide value. It can't just be,
Running an effective sphere. I mean, really running an effective sphere. You're going to spend
It's
around
an art.
$5K a year as well.
It's art. Yeah. It's
Between mailers. Yep.
Kind of random, but are we gonna start getting metered at 11 a.m.?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yes.
And per Austin's YouTube, they were
Yeah.
covered. I mean, they were covered this morning, so I don't know.
They're covered?
Yeah, they were covered this morning, and it is a weekend usually. Do they charge on the show?
Oh, yeah.
Sundays they don't. Saturdays
I
they
just
don't.
looked online and it says from until 11 Saturday.
We got 7 minutes. We're good. We're
we
good.
got 7 minutes.
Yeah, we'll feed the meter. We'll feed the meter in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I can hear the.
I guess I just need some mic notes for the tickets.
7. We'll take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a meter break.
Questions on this?
They're still covered. Oh,
They're still covered?
They're still covered. Thank
So I think
you.
we're
Sorry
okay.
I walked so loud. That's funny though. I'm totally listening to you guys. Love it.
So I think you're probably okay.
That's all you're
I thought if the meter was covered, that meant you can't park there because there's an event going on outside.
Yes, that's true.
I would not park at a covered meter.
Yeah.
Oh,
They don't start towing till like 2 o'clock though.
Okay.
cool,
I don't
because I
know.
totally
I
parked.
don't know.
My
I don't
car's
know.
not my name's technically.
That's true. Yeah. So if it's a dealer plate, like if you borrow a car
No,
from
it's
a
in
dealer, just let it
it's
go.
in my dad's name.
Oh yeah, let him get it.
Yeah. Who paid for it?
Love it.
All right, questions? Any questions on sphere of influence? What that looks like? How to run it? Anything like that?
No, but what's this Pi Day? You wrote it and then didn't have
Oh, Pi Day. Yep.
Dude, we get the big pies from Costco.
Yep.
You know, those
Pumpkin
boys?
and the apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go get a whole truckload of those and we give them to past clients. Some of them we'll do drop-offs on. The majority of them, they'll be at the office either here or Novi. They can come in and pick up. So anybody that's a past client, get the pie. It's amazing, right?
I always
Great
pick
way to
like
connect.
10 people that I want to go see, and I just take a nap in the morning and drive around and go see everybody. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, because you
It's
definitely
like
have
fun.
people that influence you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we got Pie Day. And
Do
again,
we give
same
out
thing.
whipped cream?
Yep, we give out whipped cream for a referral.
All right, keep it above board here. We give out whipped cream.
You give me a referral, I will whip you up like a can of whipped cream. I don't know how that's supposed to be done, but Maria does it.
It's called a 5-minute drive to Costco.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I took a picture of the meter before.
Yeah. But that's a real thing. People love the Pie Day thing.
People love Pie
People will
Day
drive amazingly far for a free 8
for a free freaking
What
nuts
about
pie.
like events and stuff to be able to pie people in the face? Wouldn't that be entertaining?
Yeah, well,
Austin and I do that.
line them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. Mike and I
literally-
did a, here, actually, let me teach you a lesson on this if you ever find yourself in this
Don't
position.
ever do this. This was really bad.
So we did there's an organization called KW Cares, and it's actually really, really, really cool. They've got warehouses of trucks all over the country. And anytime there's some kind of national emergency, it's like, they get there, they beat FEMA. Like we get there fast, we're ready to go. Supplies, water, food, whatever. Tornado, flooding, the whole thing, right? And so anyway, so we were doing a fundraiser. We raised like, the number grows every time. It's like,
40,000?
huh?
40,000?
No, we raised like $3,000 though. We did. We raised like $3,000 in a. But anyway, so what they did is they did the whipped cream pies. All right, pro tip, ready? If you ever find yourself in that position, so it's like people took a pie tin and they put the whipped cream and then they'd shove it in our face and they'd have to put it. They'd have to pay $100 or whatever to do it, and we were covered. Oh
Yeah.
my God, we were covered.
It took like 2 days to get it off.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Pro tip:
It's terrible.
do not use whipped cream.
No.
Use shaving cream. It's like sticky. It's terrible. The
Yes.
shaving cream is just so. Oh, you never get it out of your
I
ears.
used
It's
to
like,
work at Best Buy, right?
Yeah.
We did this as a fundraiser for our little in-house thing.
yeah.
And we did different flavors. My best friend had totally paid to pie her with a banana flavored one. She's like, dude, it sucks. 3 days later, all I smell is rotten banana. It's like it's the grossest thing in the world because it's
Yeah.
stuck up your nose.
Shaving cream. Pro tip.
For sure.
Pro tip for real. Close your eyes. Maybe even wear goggles.
Yeah.
Goggles.
Ponchos.
Yeah, we should have done ponchos. I remember we went into the bathroom. We were just looking at each other laughing. We just like took off our shirts and threw them away. That was it. It's like, that's it. Yeah.
No, what I was thinking with that, the reason I was asking is because I think that would be a cool idea for like leads, right?
Mhm.
To do some kind of a like raffle.
Mhm.
Hey, if you can bring in some money or whatever, you can, I don't know. do
Yeah.
it.
I like it. I like.
As long as they're shaving cream and I'm wearing a poncho.
I don't want to do that again.
No banana, that's a good pro tip, no banana cream pie.
I'd rather rent out a mansion and say, hey.
Yeah, I'd rather
Don't-
just rent a
don't
movie
mind.
theater and say, hey, come
Don't
watch The
mind.
Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
So that's why the last
That's a great point.
last great way to get referrals is on a national level. There are a lot of agents that have business that they can refer
Yep.
in and out of Metro Detroit.
Yep.
Right, or anywhere for that matter, right? Anywhere.
Yep.
Mark, who is probably listening right now, is Mark on there?
Yeah,
Mark,
Mark Bunsen in Naples.
Mark,
I
where you
didn't
at,
put your
man?
little thing up.
Is he there?
There you go. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Mark is amazing at this. Amazing. So he does a great job, not only with providing value for people that are looking to move in and out of Naples, but like he'll see somebody on like one of the referral sites say, hey, who's a great agent in Metro Detroit? And Mark will reach out to me directly and say, hey, Mike, this is a good one for you. And make me aware of it, which is cool,
Yeah.
which is so cool. In return, if I've ever got anybody moving in and out of anywhere near Naples, Mark is my guy, 100%. He's providing value, right? And so I provide value back. The main way to do this type of a thing on the National Referral Network.
We network with a guy too in Orlando who does a huge referral
Huge referral
business,
network.
like just with Disney and everything. We're really lucky here in Metro Detroit because a lot of people move in and out because of the auto industry.
Right.
And so, anyhow,
Do you have a reload department?
yeah, we don't do a lot of reload business.
Yeah, and Reload's changed in the last 12 years. Like in 2009, Reload just completely.
I would say, and by changed, it's really dried up.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of reload business.
But now the solar people will be moving in.
Is it the solar people?
Maybe.
That's just one.
That'd be nice.
There's a new.
Oh, we got
to
to
make
do
the
meters.
solar chargers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's do
man.
that.
You're gonna get a $10 ticket, or you do your meter something.
All right. Anybody that wants to do the meters, let's take a 5-minute break and use the bathroom.
Here's the break. Anything else you want to say to the people? Or you want to just keep it rolling?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Good teaching moment. I hope everybody learned something. I'm going to end it.
What's up, man?